Penny Fletcher, the caravan park, the toilet block and the garage are very, very close to the gate at the back of the caravan park that leads onto the lower field. So if you go into either of them and they smell strongly of these chemicals, it doesn't arouse suspicion. Now, if you go into a toilet and it stinks of disinfectant and bleach and cleaning products, are you going to bat an eyelid? Is that a makeover? Looks a lot nicer now, doesn't it? The altercation might not have happened at the bench. It might have happened at the back of the caravan park near that fence. Maybe Willow ran into the caravan park. The only place to go, in my opinion, is into that caravan park. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel Break the Ice, the channel that strives for truth and justice. Nicola Bulley is the subject of today's video. A case, a topic, a mystery that I kind of thought I was done with after my Nicola Bulley exact theory video, which was back in end of January, February. But I've had an email from a subscriber with something that I think should be discussed. I think it's an obligation of mine, considering the work that I've done on this case, the playlist that I've got. If you are new to the channel and you've clicked on it because it says Nicola Bulley, then go onto the playlist. I've done extensive work on this case, interview with Peter Falding, a video about the inquest, debunking, in my opinion, the police officer that's going down the river acting as Nicola Bulley would act. Go and check that out because that doesn't make sense. The review on the BBC documentary, because it looked like a drama to me. It was a bit weird, but yeah. And then I went to St Michael's on Wire, and I walked around all the areas and whatnot. A lot of you will know this. Some of you may not. And I came up with a theory on what I believe happened. 99% of that I still believe, but I had an email, and it's maybe just think about something a little bit different, which makes sense. The Penny Fletcher, the caravan park, the toilet block and the garage or shed or agriculture holding pen, whatever you want to call it. So, windows on, bang. I have had an email from a subscriber who wishes to remain anonymous, and of course I will adhere to that request. So this person told me that they'd seen my Nicola Bulley exact theory video and that they really took a lot from that video. So I appreciate that straight off the bat. We got on the phone. I had an email and then we got on the phone quite quick. Like I said, if anyone's got a story or something they want to share or information or something that they've seen, something that they've noticed, drop me an email, breaktheice123@hotmail.com, and we can get on the phone, you know what I mean? So this is what this person did. So they told me that they took a lot from that Nicola Bulley exact theory video, linked down in the description. I'll put the whole playlist down there. And they also said, after watching it, they've got a couple of things that they have noticed and they want to let me know about. So yeah, cool, let's get on the phone, let's chat. She said these things, I've already did, well, that narrows it down to half the world. She said that a couple of things to add that may have some importance. Now, that theory wasn't just pulled out of my arse. It was an accumulation of all the work that I've done. And there's about 30 points which led me to my theory. And actually going to the area, going to St Michael's, walking around where she did her walk and looking where Peter said he found her and checking the whole area out. And then as I was leaving, I saw the caravan park and I was like, whoa. Then it kind of dawned on me. By the way, if you've not seen that video, the Nicola Bulley exact theory video, I'd go and watch that first and then I'd come back to this. So in the comments of that video, some people pointed out to me that it's unlikely that Nicola's body could have been in the said caravan for a week without the smell being detected by the owner upon his return from the caravan. To which I totally agree with. If someone sends me something or says something or makes a comment that is logical, I'm all about it. You know, I'm not stubborn or stuck to one theory. So that was helpful. I was like, yeah, that's true, that. A lot of people have said 99% of what you said makes sense, but this doesn't. I'm like, okay, yeah, think about it, fair enough. So yeah, I totally agree with that. That's if she was dead though. She may not have been. So yeah, I agree. If she was kept in that caravan for a week dead, it would have stunk and the caravan owner would have detected that smell. However, I do 100% think that in the immediate aftermath of what I believe to be an accidental altercation between Nicola and Penny Fletcher, I do believe that she initially went into that caravan with the site owners knowing that it was unoccupied. Again, to reiterate, the owner of that caravan, he said that it had been disturbed while he was away and while Nicola was missing. Now, the lady who had emailed me, who I got on the phone to, she made me aware that there's a large toilet block running in parallel to the towpath. And there's also like a garage or a shed or a outhouse where you could house agriculture equipment, tractors and large machinery for moving stuff around, etc. and maintaining a site, I suppose. Now, both of these can be locked by the owner. This toilet block and garage are very, very close to the gate at the back of the caravan park that leads onto the lower field, near to the bench area. And this is where I believe Nicola had gone through. There's a gate that opens up near the bench area, near the kissing gate, next to the lower field. There's a gate that goes into the back of the caravan park. That's where I believe she went in. I wasn't aware that there was this big toilet block and this garage shed type building. Now, let's not forget that the CCTV was not working at the back of that caravan park at the time. This was January when Nicola went missing, and very much in the off-season. And upon my own visit in January of this year, 2 years on from when she went missing. Now, I went there 2 years later on purpose because I wanted to gauge how busy or quiet it is. I wanted to go at the same time that Nicola went. I wanted to go for the walk at the same time that Nicola went. Do you know what I mean? It just so happened that at that time there'd been a ton of rain in the UK, so the river wasn't as it was back in 2023. But anyway, nonetheless, I went there. And the caravan park looked like an absolute ghost town. I didn't see anybody on the caravan park at all. Nobody. In fact, I was there for 3 hours in the area. I did the walk. A lot of you know this already. I did the walk that Nicola did. I went all around the river area. I went to where Pete said he found her, and up and down the towpath, all everywhere. Right down from Garstang Road, down the towpath. 3 hours I was there. I didn't see a single person. Not one person from when I entered that path to leaving. River area, bench area, caravan park. No, I didn't see no one. Going back to my original theory, and when people said, yeah, everything you said makes sense, but keeping a dead body in a caravan for a week, it would absolutely stink. And I was like, very, very good point. So I do think that this toilet block and this garage, outhouse, whatever you want to call it, it may hold the key and be what makes my theory make total 100% sense rather than 99. This is my opinion. And that's what this channel is. It's about opinions and thinking outside the box, but also using what we have, using knowledge of what we know already, experts that are involved, looking at COP reports, looking at the inquest, being in the area and seeing the possibilities. If you imagine Nicola at the bench, right? Let's imagine her exit points. as north, east, south and west. So if you've got Nicola at the bench, okay, you've got north being the river, east is the towpath, south is the caravan park, and west is the upper field and beyond. Now, using pure logic and knowledge of that whole area and the witnesses and where you end up and how Peter Falding, and not just Peter Falding, how other experts in how bodies act in water when they're drowned, from all of that, the only possible direction for her to go is in that caravan park. If she left through the kissing gate and went down the towpath, you eventually come to Garstang Road, and then you're out on the street, cars, CCTV. There, you're out there. Do you know what I mean? You're in a public, very public area. If you go west, well, there was witnesses in the upper field. If you go west to exit, you're going to be seen, and further, you go further beyond. There's other places to exit in that area. If you go in the river at the bench area, yeah, you fall in and you drown, then you will sink right where you are. It's not just Peter Falding that says this, other experts that know how bodies act in water have said this. Google it. Do you know what I mean? So she'd be right there, and police were in there from day dot. She would have been found right there. She wasn't. And also, very big point, very, very big point, Willow wasn't wet. 3 W's. Willow, never forget that, by the way. Never forget that. Willow wasn't wet. I was a water dog, take to water like a duck. Nicola's best friend, do you know what I mean? If she goes in that river, why is Willow not wet? Why is she not in the water? I don't really care too much about the testimony of Willow running between the gate and the the bench and the kissing gate, because I think that comes from an unreliable source. It might even be Penny Fletcher. So we can't rely on that. But what we can rely on is that she was bone dry. A spaniel would just dive in. Quite excitable dogs. Lovable dogs. Loving dogs. You know what I mean? North, river, no. East, towpath, no. West, upper field, no. So where then? Where? Vanished into thin air? David Copperfield come and performed a magic trick? No. David Blaine arrived on the scene? No. The only place to go, in my opinion, is into that caravan park behind. But where to and for how long? I do think that she initially ended up in the caravan. And I always will think that. And I think it was an immediate panic procedure, knowing that it's a private domicile, with the owner not being around and the site being almost deserted at that time of year. I saw no one when I was there at that same time of year. So logic would say it was deserted. January, caravan park. You know what I mean? On that note then, I do think that she went into that caravan park from the back gate. I do think there was an altercation with Penny. I don't think that Nicola Bulley was murdered. I think there was an altercation to do with Nicola and Willow being off the lead. I think that Penny was maybe having a bad day. I think it was a perfect storm of two people. Maybe Nicola doesn't look in the best mood when she leaves the house, her own house, on the CCTV, which we saw in the documentary from the BBC. Nicola don't look in a great mood. Penny may not be in a great mood. She don't come across like quite a happy, chilled lady, does she? Willow's off the lead because the harness was found. So I do think these collided in some way. It might not have even been at the bench where there was an altercation. Willow may have been running let's just add this into the mix. Let's say that back gate at the back of the caravan park was open. Yeah, maybe Penny was about to come out with some of her machinery. Who knows, right? But it might not. The altercation might not have happened at the bench. It might have happened at the back of the caravan park near that fence. Maybe Willow ran into the caravan park, and that's when shit went down. That's when the altercation happened. And I don't think she was murdered again, but I do think there might have been an altercation. Maybe she was struck by Penny. She may have had a stick. She's an elderly lady. She's not like, she's not frail. She may have had a stick. She might have had a spade. Who knows, right? Or even just her own fist. Point I'm getting to is that I think there was an altercation, a row because of the dog off the lead between the two of them, and Nicola has been struck, and she may have hit her head, she may have died instantly, she may have not died, she may have come round a bit later on. But I do think this is what happened. There's nowhere else to go. We've just been through it. There's nowhere else to go. Now, I think then that panic ensued. This is what I've been through before in that theory. I think that she was taken to this caravan for a day or two in the immediate aftermath. It's private property, but they've got access with a key. So it's safer to put someone or a body in there as it's private. And I don't know the authority of police breaking into private property. So that's kind of a good insurance. But obviously, as pointed out, she can't stay in there for very long if she's dead, because it would smell. So I think that it's possible then that she could have been moved into that toilet block. There's 3 doors on that toilet block. And she could have been moved into that toilet block. Or, this is more likely in my opinion, or that shed / garage, just after a few days of being in that caravan. Now, both can be locked, and it wouldn't, if it was the toilet block, it wouldn't arouse much suspicion, as the site was so quiet. And there might not have been many people, if anyone, there, in the caravans. And if it's a toilet block, any possible smell could easily be covered up using bleach, cleaning products. Now, if you go into a toilet and it stinks of disinfectant and bleach and cleaning products, are you going to bat an eyelid? Of course you're not. Now, in relation to the shed / garage, any smell in there, well, if you've got all these agriculture vehicles, the smell of machinery and petrol and all that kind of stuff, that strong smelling stuff. What I'm saying is, both the toilet block and the garage, which one would presume houses this agricultural equipment, can be covered with strong smelling liquids, petrol in the garage, bleach and cleaning fluids in the toilet. So if you go into either of them and they smell strongly of these chemicals, it doesn't arouse suspicion. I'm really glad that this person reached out. I was done on this particular case, really, because I'll never just churn stuff out for the sake of it. Never. If you go through this content, it's not just for the sake of it. There's always something that I'd like to say, which is new or relevant. So I'm glad this lady reached out, because this does make sense. The caravan park was not searched for 18 days. All of this is Googleable. It wasn't searched for 18 days. Police and search teams were searching up that river bench area down to the weir for about 10 days, something like that. Peter Falding came, did his search. We all know the crack with what he claimed. That's not what we're here to talk about in this video, though. Now, as I mentioned in the Nicola Bulley exact theory video, the police were letting the community know what they were, where they were searching and where they weren't, and they'd let them know, right, we've stopped our search at the bench, way down to way kind of area, moving on, all this kind of stuff. And the community was aware of this. So once, in my opinion, Caravan affiliates, the people, the Fletchers that own that caravan park, learned that they're not there in the bench area anymore. That's what I said in the previous video. This is where I believed she may have been moved. Right? And again, previous video. Under the cover of darkness, you can very easily, if no one's there searching, you can just take her from now, in my opinion. The garage shed, the toilet, probably the garage shed though. It could be the toilet. There's hardly anyone on the site, if anyone at all. And a lot of these caravans will have their own toilets anyway. No one may have even been using these toilets. Anyway, once the coast is clear, if you will, you could then transfer the body under the cover of darkness over the field to the right of the stile. And as you've seen in my trip to the area, right where Peter Falding said he found her, where there's an island. I couldn't capture the island in my video because the water was higher. There's like 2 broken down fences, like they're just in bits. Isn't it funny that Peter Falding said he found her there? And if you are going to move a body from the caravan park over the adjacent field to next to the stile, you don't have to get her over a fence because the fence is broke anyway, right at that island. It's all in my opinion, of course, must reiterate that, but it isn't plucked from the sky. I didn't have a psychic vision, didn't have a dream. This is rational thinking and logical thinking. There is nowhere else to go apart from this caravan park, in my opinion. The caravan park wasn't searched for 18 days. They'd moved their search away from the bench and weir area after about 10. Peter Falding went home or whatever. And basically that area was clear, really. They'd stopped searching it. So it's a good time to put a body in the water. And don't forget again, the SIO's main working hypothesis was that Nicola was in the river. So everyone thought she was in the river. So the safest place for her to be, if you had been involved in her accidental death, is to get her in the river. So the caravan park wasn't searched for 18 days, giving time to potentially hide a body there in some capacity, whether it's 2 days, 1 day in the caravan, and then moved on to the toilet or the garage/shed. Without there ever being any evidence of Nicola. You could bleach the toilet, it wouldn't arouse suspicion. You could clean top to toe a shed, a garage, and then you've got all the smaller petrol, so that kind of masks it. If it was a toilet block, she could have been moved through any of the 3 doors and kept there until that search was complete in that bench way area. Both of these places, these buildings, can be locked by the caravan site owner/owners. That does make more sense now to that theory that I had. Might be like the missing key. So thank you for that email. Got the email saying, are you aware of the toilet block? and are you aware of this garagey bit? And then, yeah, it really got me thinking. So thank you to this lady for this email. Mrs. Anonymous, hello to you. Right now, one final thing. A picture of the toilet block at the time. And a picture of the toilet block now. It's had a makeover. Looks a lot nicer now, doesn't it? Nice paint job. Easier on the eye. There's nothing incriminating about that, but as someone that thinks outside the box and looks at things from a different angle, if that toilet block held a dead body or even someone alive, if she was alive, that's a worst case scenario, isn't it, really? But if that's the case, then they will, from a psychological point of view, if you're guilty of something, you often think that everybody else thinks that you're guilty. Now, if you are guilty, it's natural to think that everyone else thinks you're guilty. So, totally different, right? I'm not comparing these two in the slightest, but remember Chris Watts? Obviously, a lot of people know about that case. Chris Watts spent so much time trying to act not guilty that he forgot to act worried. Now, if this toilet block housed Nicola Bulley, whether she was dead or alive, from a psychological point of view, every day they look at that toilet block, they'll be like, we know what happened in there, we know what happened in there, we know what happened in there, everyone else does. We need to, it's there in their mind every day, if this is the case. Of course, this video is, in my opinion. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. You got to say this on YouTube. And it is, in fact, even, I'm not just putting the disclaimer there of that this is my opinion. It isn't fact, and I may well be wrong. Absolutely. I just feel very strongly that this is the only thing that makes sense. Should we ended up in that caravan park? So yeah, the toilet makeover. Is that a way to, in their minds, kind of like, we'll freshen it up, we'll make it look really nice, we'll put some new paint on it, we'll put some new flowers in the hanging baskets, and then it's different. It's not the same place. It's not the same place that housed, or hid a body. Do you know what I mean? Just a psychological point. Not that I'm a psychologist, but I do look at things from different angles. So there we go. Just a little bit of new information about that caravan park that I wasn't aware of. And it does make that theory make more sense. Hit that subscribe button. We're nearly at 20,000 now. So that's really, really good. I'm very grateful to everybody that's subscribed to this channel. Leave a comment, of course. Let me know what you think. Like and share the video and get it moving around the old algorithm. Thank you very much for watching the video. I always appreciate it. Have a great day. The weather, I seem to end every video talking about the weather. Maybe that's a new thing. It's standard Manchester now. Windy, rainy, bit grim. But yeah, have a great day, whatever you do. And as always, peace out.